Alright, so welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're now in Game 2 of this Best of 3 series here between pLcZ and Ttes in Week 11 of Zyori's The Grand Poobah. Of course, $2,600 on the line for this wonderful event. Just a quick Best of 3 series for us here today on this lovely Friday afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you may be in the world. Truly an international game, and well, happy to be here covering it for you guys bright and early on the East Coast. Of course, I'm Zyori from ZyoriTV. A pleasure to be here. Slated to solo cast yet again. We'll see what these two teams have in store. The picks and bans have come out, so let's take a look at what these guys are up to. First ban this game, going to go over to the Legion side yet again, which of course is going to be the Platinum Comets, aka that other team. I do recall that they are an Indonesian team, but they're formerly known as BWOM, as they are labeled on my website and a couple of other places. I believe that's how they're labeled on the Grand Poobah website as well. But not to worry, they are one in the same. Here they just are. This is the Platinum Comets. So you look at the bands though. The Platinum Comets going to start off with a ban on to Pyromancer, followed up by that next ban from Slicks on Polywog Priest, Bubbles, Armadon, Tundra, Behemoth, Magebane, and Electrician. So a couple of interesting bans in there. Most notably, Pyromancer is the first ban, and we have seen TT Esports run a Pyromancer a time or two. I can recall a game or two where I've seen Slicks completely dominate with Pyro. Still an interesting ban, and an interesting first ban at that. The other heroes here, interesting that not too many bans from the last game seem to be spilling over here, though Bubbles is going to be banned. Polywog, you know, all very powerful heroes. Pyromancer are really the only one jumping out at me. Behemoth is kind of an interesting ban as well. So taking a look at the picking here, we're going to see a first pick onto Pebbles. No big surprise there, seeing as he was left on the board. TT Esports going to grab Miraxis Aluna to start things off. Now, Nymphora is still on the board, and I'm going to be curious to see if they pick her up or if they leave her open. I would imagine the Platinum Comets here would be very eager to mix in a Nymphora pick to complement that Pebbles so nicely. She would really fit into their roster quite well, just looking at the lineup they have thus far. Of course, Wretched Hag going to be playing a solo lane similar. Valkyrie with the potential to play that dual lane. I mean, I think an Nymphora Magmus pickup here for these for this Legion team would be absolutely amazing. So powerful. Both those heroes are on the board, I do believe. Yeah, Magmus is not banned. Though TT Esports very well may pick up an Nymphora here, and there it is. They will do that. Not going to allow the Nymphora Pebbles combo to come about, so not surprised there. However, I am surprised to see who they're presumably going to be pairing her with. Well, I don't even know. A Midas pickup here from TT Esports. Now, this is really, really interesting. Sorry, looked at it. Did that thing where I started reading. Should just avoid reading. Oh, how rude. Oh, my. Anyway, so Midas. Now, Midas is a really interesting hero right now. He has a lot of problems, in my humble opinion. Now, the thing with Midas, he started off very strong. When he was first introduced into the game, he was pretty broken. I remember Sneaky and I calling him Pebbles 2.0, and I think that's still a fairly appropriate name for him. When he was launched, had an equivalent amount of burst, had a shorter cooldown rotation, had a heal, and had an escape mechanism in that elemental warp. Plus, he had the transmute. Ridiculous. Better than Pebbles. More burst, more mobility. Didn't quite need the portal key to have that same power. More annoying, easier to catch more people in the AoE, and comparable damage output. Plus a heal. Then Midas got in a fight with the Nerf bat and lost horribly. I think he still has a few scars from that scuffle with the old S2 balance team here, because he's pretty much weak sauce. And the big nerf they did on this guy was his armor. If you'll look at that base armor, 1.18 is extraordinarily low. He also has a relatively low attack range, sitting at about 450, on par with that of Andromeda. So the issue with Midas comes in, he needs a powerful laning presence, and he used to be a really powerful laner, but now with his low armor as well as the low attack range and the reduced effectiveness of all of his abilities, he just gets out-harassed in lane. Simply put, if he goes toe-to-toe with someone like Wretched Hag, he's just going to lose. He's going to get harassed back, he's not going to have lane control, he's not going to be able to farm that well. So the next logical step is like, okay, we'll just pair him up with somebody really good. Stick him with Nymphora, get him a babysitter. It's going to be awesome. This is awesome. No, it's not awesome. It's terrible because like Torturer, like Wretched Hag, he's a hero that needs to be solo. He needs that solo experience to really snowball effectively. He's not a hero that benefits from farm quite as much as he benefits from early experience. He's not so useful till he hits that level 6 mark. So, a lot of problems with Midas, and that's why I'm really curious to see TT Esports mixing him in, and it makes me really curious to see how they're going to lane this, and that brings me to that final and last point, Ophelia. So, I was thinking to myself that it was sort of interesting that Ophelia was not picked up here at all, because she was left on the field here, and Tempest actually picked up over Ophelia is a little bit interesting, though very well could be that Platinum Commons does not have a competent Ophelia player. Very well, she is a high skill cap hero for sure. So not surprised to see TT Esports pick her up necessarily, but that does mean there are going to be some interesting lanes going about. I would imagine it's going to be I don't know how they're going to lane this. I really don't. Nymphora could easily be paired up with Meraxes. That's a lane combo we've seen quite a bit, but that would leave a solo Midas and a solo Aluna. Now, both Midas and Aluna can solo, but is that going to be their best bet? Meraxes can also solo here, so they could try this Nymphora Midas combo. I don't know what they're going to do. I really am not sure, but we'll see. We'll see. Alright, let's switch our overlays here. So welcome into game number 2 here officially, ladies and gentlemen. I am so curious to see how this is going to unfold, especially for the Hellborn side. How are they going to lane this? See some people say, why the hate on Midas? He's such a nice guy. I'm sure he is a nice guy. I'd totally go have a beer with this elderly Santa Claus looking dude right here. Just look at him. Right? How could he say no to that? But he has a lot of problems. You know, we're going to see him start off with that Guardian Ring, going to help out the armor a little bit. But as you'll observe, with the Guardian Ring, just looking at the armors over here, it puts him on par with a lot of these other heroes when he picks up that Guardian Ring. So, they are going to do a Suicide Midas. I should have known he's in the hands of WTF, of course, a great Suicide Lane player. But who's he going to go up against? Is this Midas going to be against a solo Wretched Hag in the close lane? That would be my bet, and it looks like that's going to be the case. Zhao Lent going to be the one to face off. So I actually use that as my example. Midas versus Hag. Hag should be able to win this pretty easily. We'll see. Hopefully my words don't bite me in the ass, because it has been a long time since I've seen a Midas pick up, but makes me really nervous for TTES. At the very least, I think WTF is not going to be able to pick up much early farm. If he can stay in experience range, you know, he'll maybe be okay. We'll see. It's gonna be tricky. It's definitely gonna be a bit of a sticky wicket. We're going to have Tempest here being played by Morlung on our Legion side. Going to be jungling. Glacius Pebbles going to be in the mid lane. No surprise there. Going to be facing off against a solo Aluna in the hands of Slicks. So potentially we will see a bit of carry Aluna this game, which is certainly a treat as well. Slicks is definitely a player that tends to carry regardless of what hero he has in his hands here. But, you know, Aluna is a really good hero for a lot of reasons, as we've talked about time and time again. But one of the things that makes her so great is that versatility, where she can play hard support, but also can play semi-carry. If Slicks manages to pick up a bit of early farm here, does get a nice early Hellflower, he can definitely carry. Aluna does have nice stat game, beautiful auto attack cooldown here, and is definitely going to be in good shape, though this is going to be a remarkably difficult lane for Aluna to deal with. Pebbles Glacius is a hero killer lane for sure, and yeah, as we can see already some lane swapping going about. Meraxes and Nymphora going to be the two to take over the mid lane, and I think this is a great choice. They're not going to be able to combo down this Meraxes too easily. Nymphora will be susceptible, so she's going to have to play a little bit further back, but we'll see how it goes. We'll definitely see how it goes. With Talaba continuing to harass with this Vulture Lord here, the thing about this tornado that makes it so annoying is you can't target it. Well, you can target it, but it has no hit points. So it's, of course, the tower. And look how much damage it does to Pebbles, just taking him down to the Vulture Lord up here on the high ground. So very crafty play from Talaba, and that Ophelia doing very, very good. Doing very nice harassment there. Of course, it doesn't cost him anything aside from his creep sort of just being in the middle of nowhere, but still very craftily done. See, in the top lane now, it is going to be solo Luna going up against solo Valkyrie, and this is going to be much, much easier for Slicks to pick up some farm and also just not be at risk of getting completely obliterated. We see their farms pretty comparable, 3 and 3 versus the 4 and 2 of Valkyrie, so both kind of on par with one another. Tempest actually the first one to start to pull away from the pack a little bit, as is Wretched Hag. So looks like I was a bit right about what's going on down here in the bottom lane. We can kind of keep some closer tabs on it, but Wretched Hag vastly out farming that of Midas, who's sitting 1 and 3, while Hag is 8 and 3. Anytime Midas even gets close, a couple of auto attacks and a bat blast, nothing he can do. I'm so glad that Zhao is showing us the power of Hag versus Midas here, and sort of bringing to light some of the problems with Midas, although can be a powerful hero, why he isn't picked up so much right now. You know, I think you could make a pretty strong case that Midas is one such hero that probably should be picked up a little bit more. There are certain scenarios where he fits into rosters and can be very, very powerful. One thing about Midas that is very, very scary is he is still a snowball hero. He can take off. If there is some scenario where for whatever reason he has an easy lane, he's up against a melee who's not playing well, he has a jungler supporting him who's ganking frequently, whatever the case is, if he's able to pick up a couple of early kills and get some early experience, he can take off. If he is the first to hit level 6 in the game, woo, there's no looking back. He gets out of control. You know, level 6 is really when he turns into a whole new hero. That's when he can actually combo and go from, I'm going to harass you with my Elemental Warp and Golden Salvo, to, I'm going to combo yo ass down. So we shall see. He's still picking up XP reasonably well, glancing at the XP per minute chart. Midas is still in good shape, so not all hope is lost for WTF. And actually, he's not struggling as much as I thought he would be. I think this Hag could afford to be a little bit more aggressive here. He is leveling up. Sonar Scream is the primary. This is kind of a classic Wretched Hag build. No surprise to see the 1-1-2, which will no doubt be the 1-1-3. But what you see Wretched Hags do against solo melee heroes, if this was an electrician, for example, sometimes you'll see a Hag level up Haunt as that primary, because whenever a melee hero goes up to the creeps, you drop the slow, and that gives you the opportunity to pound in 3 or 4 auto attacks before they can make it away from you or make it back to the tower, what have you. So that may be a very powerful tool here to utilize against Midas, because he is a hero, again, with that limited range that may be susceptible to some of that Haunt harass, though the Elemental Warp does make things a little bit more difficult in that category. Not to say Wretched Hag's build is bad by any means, just pointing out some different routes that he could have taken. In the mid, we are going to see some engagement here. We could see Pebbles in big trouble. The mana going to go on to Meraxes. Pebbles not going to turn to knock the mana off. Shocked to see Meraxes knocking the mana up. He did connect with that axe. Glacius did have a Glacial Imprisonment up, but they could have definitely done a good bit of damage to that. Pebbles, unfortunately, Leon Black not going to connect with that stun to knock Late Potion off. Take a look at the top lane here. Aluna leading the way in farm here for the Hellborn side. Number 1 farmer here. Just slightly below that of Wretched Hag, but wow, Slick's doing a great job taking advantage of a light Neven here against this Valkyrie. He's just picking up the better of the farm. That's really all it comes down to. And he is in damn good shape. Down here in the bottom lane, there's Wretched Hag with that Haunt. This is kind of what I'm talking about here. Midas going to be in a little bit of trouble, but he is going to be able to Elemental Warp Elemental Warp back, nullifying some of the effectiveness of that Haunt, but still the damage has been done, and you can see why Wretched Hag is just so much more powerful in this lane yet again. Midas has been able to pick up a bottle, though. Unfortunately, long lane bottle can be a little bit difficult. It is empty. That's kind of an old school trick here. The long lane bottle used to work great when you could run the bottle with a courier. Of course, you can no longer do that, so he's going to be stuck without much regen here pretty quickly. What does that mean? For a bit of time. Sorry about that. But wow, a remarkably quiet game in the way of hero kills right now. Those 0-0s are just about to approach that 6-minute rune spawn. It looks like Glacius going to head towards the top for some of that rune action. Oh, that axe just barely going to miss. Pebble's going to be the one to head up there, as he does have an empty bottle. And he is going to be lucky today. Going to be able to pick up the Illusion Rune up in the top rune spawn, so he's going to be in good shape. May try to move around the back here, set something up onto Meraxes. Meraxes does not have his lane partner here. He's going to activate that Arcane Shield, but in comes the freeze from Glacius, and this may be a Bloodlust kill coming out. Indeed it is. Riser going to fall. Nickelodeon's going to be the one to pick up that bonus 200 gold. And of course, going to go into the hands of Glacius, so very well done. Beautiful timing. Unfortunately, there are no wards up right now. What is going on? Neither side has any rune wards going down. So Leon Black, of course, had moved down to the bottom, had no idea the rune had been picked up, and this Legion side capitalized on the situation. Were able to pick up a kill on the Meraxes. Beautifully done. We do see Nymphora getting caught by the stun, and she is going to fall. All the while in the top lane, though, Ophelia comes in. Whoa, look at that power throw from Slick's. Going to be able to pick up a kill on the Light and Even, as well as they do pick up the tier 1 tower here in the top lane. So nicely timed push from Watalaba. Fortunately, we didn't catch any of the tower pushing action, but indeed we did see that kill onto Nymphora. So although the double tap did come out for the Legion side, there are some positives here for TT Esports. More action coming Riser's way, though. Meraxis may fall again. There's a freeze from Glacius. He's going to go down. Meraxis is a hell of a tanky hero, but not tanky enough to handle a 1v3, as now Tempest has moved into the lane. Riser playing very, very sloppy here in the mid. You can't be that far forward when you don't have your lane partner with you. Riser, you should know better than that, my friend. If he was level 6, may have been able to survive that, because that really is the key that makes Meraxis that scary hero. Kind of like Midas, you need to hit level 6. That's what makes your hero a powerful hero. So he is going to have to concede yet another kill here. With that, will concede the tier 1 tower kill. So pLcZ off to a great start here. 8 minutes in now, up by about 2k gold, 2k experience. That is fantastic news. This Tempest has been having a good time in the jungle as well, but as has Ophelia. Oh, WTF with questionable decision making here. Is going to move down into the river. Needs to be very careful. Hoping for an 8-minute rune spawn. Unfortunately, not going to find it. It is going to be a regeneration up in the top. And I say questionable decision making just because Zhao Light could do exactly what he did right there. WTF. Again, just a sloppy play. You have no wards, no sight at this bottom rune. Anyone could have popped up to make it rain all up on your chops. He knew Wretched Hag was there. He knows that he's not going to be able to just run past him as he's sitting on red boots. Wretched Hag on red boots as well, but Haunt going to give Wretched Hag that movement speed with the blink as well. I just don't know what WTF was thinking. At the very least, should have tried the Elemental Warp up into the Ancients here. Could have potentially been a getaway. Not a very crisp play at all. Very, very unfortunate. I don't understand what's going on with the warding situation here, though. Finally, Leon Black going to be the one to bring down some wards, so there it is. Going to put them in appropriate locations. There's just a long window here where Leon Black nor Watalaba had any wards down, just like rune control. Who gives a shit about rune control? I mean, I'm having trouble understanding the decision making a little bit. We are going to see pLcZ take out the tier 1 tower down here in the bottom lane, and that is going to open up a window for Pebbles here to pick up a 9-minute portal key. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what you want to avoid when your opponents have a Pebbles. 9-minute portal key is huge. Huge! It's ridiculous. Now, one thing to note that is important, though, Pebbles does need to finish these Steam Boots before he's going to be too scary. Because one of the problems with going portal key this quick is you have no mana pool. As you can see here, not enough mana to combo. If he had, that would have been a kill. So going portal key this quick, not always the best of choices. Generally speaking, you're going to see players pick up Steam Boots first and then transition into that portal key. Right, see Slicks get caught up in the top lane, nowhere to go, does use that deja vu, but really nothing he could do. Just going to stand his ground and, well, end up falling to the wrath of the Valkyrie Wretched Hag combo. Hag now 2-0-0, so off to a fantastic start. Although he is going to leave this bottom lane, and this is going to give WTF that much valued farm that he well, was missing out on earlier in the lane. He is going to be able to static farm and should be able to pick up every single creep kill here for at least a wave or two. Like I said, that is going to be much to WTF's delight here, as he is still sub 200 GPM now, 10 minutes in. So anyhow, yeah, one of the problems with Pebbles going that super fast portal key, but he still has that jump factor. Going to go straight in onto Midas and not going to be able to get that combo off, but oh, Elemental Warp going to come out. Is WTF actually going to be able to survive this? Is going to sit that bottle, but no, Elemental Void going to come out. And a fairly easy kill here for the Legion side, though almost able to survive. WTF did burn that Tempest ulti, so not much more WTF could have done right there other than maybe putting a ward down in the danger zone. You're in the long lane. Warding the trees right here actually is a pretty good plan. I hate to sound a little bit cynical, but it seems like TT Esports deserves it a little bit. Their past 3 deaths have just been sloppy, sloppy, sloppy. All could have been easily avoidable with a couple of 100 yellow gold investments here. These little bad boys. Pardon me. Sorry, with the solo casting, gotta continually sip the beverage. Gotta keep the whistle nice and wet. Don't want a dry whistle. Certainly can't have that. But yeah, I mean, TT Esports, I don't want to say they're throwing right now, but I really don't know. I don't know why they're playing the way they are. Again, WTF just going to be up a little bit too far. He sees these two heroes in the lane. You know Pebbles has a portal key. That's already been established. You need to be a little bit more heads up than that. You need to be thinking, okay, Pebbles has a portal key. If he's not on my mini-map, I need to be aware that he could jump on my face. Same story, different chapter. I mean, Pebbles isn't even level 8. He hasn't even maxed out his combo yet, and they're just giving him free kills. He's 2-0-3, and he doesn't need to be. They don't need to be allowing this Pebbles to snowball the way he is. They do pick up a tier 1 tower kill in the mid lane, though, so that is going to be a nice little gold pick-me-up. But very, very unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate indeed. So we shall see, pardon me, as it looks like we could see an engage commence here. Pebble's going to walk straight into this Legion team, but he does have an invisibility rune active. Going to go straight in. Actually, not going to drop the combo. Pebbles does have a haste rune. Yeah, a haste and an invis right there. Is that what I saw, or are my eyes playing tricks on me? He is not going to concede a kill. But whoa, sorry about that. Did miss a little bit of action up here. Morlong actually going to pick up a kill onto WTF as the action continues. Wretched Hag going to get engaged on, but they're not going to have enough to finish the kill. We are going to see some more action up here in the top as we see some reinitiation. Leon Black going to get taken out as Tempest is sort of in the danger zone, in the hot seat, if you will. Mirax is now going to be in some trouble as he activates the Arcane Shield. It's not going to get tripped. He's going to fall. Looks like Ophelia going to get caught as well. What is TT Esports doing? A 4-for-0 exchange. Where did that come from? They didn't pick a target. They got spread out. They do manage to pick up a kill onto Pebbles thanks to a beautiful power throw from Slicks, but it seems Slicks was the only one to avoid death in that fight because he wasn't even there. I'm totally drawing a blank. Let's just take a moment of silence for TT Esports. You know, I hate to bring it up, but someone in chat just said, "Yo, are they trolling a little bit?" And I mean, I'm making that face, just kind of like, but you have to wonder a little bit. This is not the TT Esports we saw last game, to put it lightly. This is not a TT Esports. I mean, 0-2, 0-3, 0-4, 0-1. When was the last time we saw statistics like this for TT Esports? I mean, not to take anything away from this Legion side. I mean, we are focusing on TT Esports as they are the heavy favorite in this series. But, you know, pLcZ is actually really playing quite well right here. You know, it's not just throws from TT Esports. They did pick up a phenomenal draft. Of course, Wretched Hag winning that bottom lane was huge. But this Pebbles Glacius lane has been very successful. Both of them have had kind of a driving role. One thing that makes me nervous, though, is Pebbles' farm actually isn't that good. Yeah, he was able to pick up an early portal key. Yeah, he's been able to pick up some kills, but he's only at 250 GPM. It's not like we're sitting there at a 400 GPM Pebbles. I mean, this game isn't over by any means. Not even close, but it's getting closer and closer to that point. We are going to see Slicks get engaged on up in the top lane, though he is going to be able to survive. Pebbles going to be in some trouble. I think Hag's going to be able to blink away and survive just fine, but Pebbles is going to get caught, so nicely executed here by TT Esports. That's the TT Esports I'm more accustomed to seeing. We do see, we did see Slicks actually with some nice plays there. Sort of the power of allowing Slicks to pick up some of that early farm. He is a little bit tanky. Tier 2 tower down here in the bottom lane will fall here for TT Esports. Tempest and Valkyrie doing some nice pushing power. And they are looking like they're going to put at least a little bit of pressure on that tier 3 tower. Perhaps not. Slick's going to port back and is going to have the power to scare them back. So taking out that Pebbles certainly is a good play. And again, Pebbles still without those steam boots really limit his effectiveness of this portal key. You really need to pick up those steam boots quickly, not only for the additional stats, just the movement speed and attack speed. It's one of those things where, yeah, portal key's great, but steam boots are what make it that much more effective. You know, it's hard to say, but if he had steam boots up in that top lane, may have been able to survive a little bit longer, at least on red boots. You're not going to be able to get away. You're not even going to be able to chase somebody down, you know, to get in a few more of those right-click auto attacks on a Luna. So kind of unfortunate to see him still struggling to finish up those steam boots. That's one of the things that makes, you know, looking at this GPM chart, that makes me kind of scratch my head like, all right, yeah, this Legion team, 11-3, all right, Pebbles with a 9-minute portal key, but he's one of the lowest farmers on this Legion side. I mean, Valkyrie as well, still trying to recover from that early game. Really, the only two farming really, really well that are scary in this game right now are Wretched Hag and Tempest. You know, Tempest can be a scary hero if left unchecked in the jungle. Certainly farming much more effectively than Ophelia here. But this Wretched Hag is really the one to be feared at the moment. Interesting item choices from Zhao Lent as well, as he has gone for the Sustainer first, but looks like he's not going to transition straight into the Nullstone and going to go straight for what I would guess is a Shrunken Head, as he does have this Warhammer. Given his great farm, you know, could go into a carry. I mean, we have seen carry Hags with shield breakers before. Wouldn't be the wildest thing in the world, though. Not the most synergistic item with Hag as far as a semi-carry item. I would imagine a Shrunken Head into a Hellflower would be the appropriate item choice here for Wretched Hag, though time will tell. They do manage to take out the tier 1 tower up in the top lane. Pebbles actually the one to finish it off. And speaking of Pebbles, he has now picked up his Steam Boost, so that is going to be a nice item pickup here. pLcZ going to put some pressure on the tier 2 in the top lane. A little bit of a tower race scenario here as TT Esports commits to taking out the tier 2 in the bottom. TT Esports going to use the glyphs. Are the ports going to come in? And no, they're not. TT Esports actually just going to sack the tier 2 in exchange for the tier 1. They're going to pick off the tower. Some ports coming in. Pebbles, Glacius, and Hag going to be the 3 to make it in. Tempest was in the jungle, and he is on his way as well. Looks like Ophelia is going to get caught. Pebbles without enough mana to do the proper combo, but they still managed to secure the kill. Wretched Hag actually going to assist, not going to be the one to pick up the kill. Aluna going to try and port out, and she's going to make it. Tempest not going to be able to stun, as it is still on cooldown. So nicely timed there from Slicks, and going to be able to survive to tell the tale. And it looks like Meraxes was able to port out as well. So a tier 2 for a tier 1 tower exchange, of course, in favor of the Legion side. They get a kill when it's all said and done, so they'll take that exchange any day of the week. That does give Wretched Hag just enough here to finish up that Shrunken Head, so always a big item pickup. We see Midas taking a bit of damage here in the mid lane, is going to be able to Elemental Warp up the high ground, so that is one of the things about this hero that makes him very powerful, is he does have that escape mechanism if near a high ground area. Pebble's going to try and chase him down, though, is going to throw a bit of a combo. The ultimate from Ophelia going to come out just in time to keep WTF alive. He is on the run. Is he going to be able to survive? And it looks like he may actually be able to. Glacius in hot pursuit, but I don't think he's going to be able to get there. Saw the attempt to finish him off with that Tundra Blast, unfortunately just slightly out of range. Very, very well done by WTF to survive the bit of early pressure. WTF, though, still feeling the pain from the early game, sitting just barely above the 200 GPM mark. Really no remarkable items to speak of. Working his way towards that Ring of Sorcery. Another thing I should note about Midas, he is one of those heroes where the Ring of Sorcery is a core item. Of course, not too many patches ago, that item was nerfed, increasing the cost, but also increasing the amount of base mana it is to use it, so reducing the effectiveness for the hero that's actually picked it up. You're going to see an engage here. Valkyrie going to get jumped on by Meraxes. Valkyrie is going to fall to start things off. Need to be very wary of Tempest. A nice Bat Blast coming in. They do pick up that kill on the Leon Black. Things starting to get turned around here. Tempest without the ultimate. Looks like it did get interrupted. Oh, and Slick's going to be able to pick up that kill on the Nickelodeons. A nice 400 gold pick-me-up there for Slick. So a 2-for-1 exchange. Nymphora, the only one to go down. And a nice team fight here for our Hellborn side. I'll be honest, I did sort of miss that Tempest ultimate, but I think it got canceled right away right there. So nicely done by TT Esports. And slowly grinding their way back. Looking at the team deficit between gold and experience, it's slowly growing in favor of TT Esports. So they're getting there. A few more team fights like that, and they will be in good shape. Yeah, sorry, I totally... Those team fights, sometimes you just miss the skills. LOL, Tempest. Oh, so embarrassed I can't talk about it now. So yeah, anyhow, here, let's take a look at some of the inventory. Slicks has now picked up that Hellflower, as I mentioned, with any intellect semi-carry, if you... I like to call them intellect carries, but really they're semi-carries. Hellflower is just the perfect item for that. Attack speed, damage, intellect, mana regen, all... very important statistics for an intellect carry. That's why I suggested Hag picking it up, but with Aluna, it is such a great item. One of the things about Aluna that gives her that versatility, that allows her to be that semi-carry, and one of the reasons we saw her not picked up, 3-4 months ago, and now we see her every game, is she actually was buffed. They increased her attack speed, and how that attack speed scales, which changes her from that hero that, yeah, has okay attack speed to scalable attack speed. We are going to see Aluna get taken out here, trying to port out. Tempest did come in with a nice stun, and that actually is going to open up in a nice initiation for the Hellborn side. Meraxis going to go straight in the front line, almost has a full ultimate, not going to be able to get it off, at least get it off on someone where he can do damage. Unfortunately, Leon Black going to get taken out again. Looks like he's kind of being picked on here by Zhao Lent as he does secure a kill. Tempest going to continue in here as Meraxis is going to get taken out shortly after with Talaba. So again, sloppy plays from TT Esports. A 4-for-0 exchange, although they do pick up that tier 2 tower kill. Way over-committing. They did not need to commit just for a tier 2 tower, especially for a 4-for-1 engage. So that little lead that they had picked up for themselves after that last successful defense certainly thrown away here as they overcommit. I'm not really sure why they did that. Anyhow, Wretched Hag, though, like I said, kind of picking on Leon Black a little bit, which is really the right thing to do. Hag now 4-0-4 in these team fights. He's finding those opportunities to pick somebody off and use that Shrunken Head appropriately, do that burst of damage while he's immune to the disables, and then just blink the hell out of there. We'll observe the cooldowns, 6 seconds here, and Shrunken Head does last for, what's he down to here? Where are you, Mr. Shrunken Head? Down to 9 seconds, so used it once. And as we can do some mental math there, can blink in, pop the Shrunken Head below the rotation, and still have the opportunity to blink out while still safe and sound under the effects of Shrunken Head. So some great decision making by Zhao Lent. That's all I really have to say about this Wretched Hag. He's going to be the scary carry to deal with from this Legion side. Valkyrie's farm is sort of ever increasing, though still not much to write home about, sitting around 275 GPM. Has now picked up a Firebrand. 23 minutes in, that's a step in the right direction, but still nothing too crazy. Tempest has now picked up a Portal Key and a Shrunken Head, so there is no excuse for not landing that money Tempest ult, and with this Wretched Hag Tempest combo, certainly could be difficult for TT Esports in these upcoming fights. It's going to be all about that initiation, and again, it's going to be all about that Hellflower. I talked about Hellflower being a great counter to an item like Shrunken Head. If Slicks can manage to Hellflower Tempest before that Shrunken Head goes off, they're going to have that 4-second window of opportunity to focus down Tempest, lock her down before Shrunken Head can come off while under the effects of 20% increased damage taken. So they're really going to have to be mindful of that opportunity to try and make it happen. There's going to be some initiation onto Pebbles. Looks like he's going to get taken out before the fight even really starts. Wretched Hag going to go straight in. He's going to drop the rotation. Tempest going to go in with a big ultimate. Big baby. Looks like they may be able to turn this around. The Legion side going to go ahead and clean up this team fight. A 3-for-1 exchange, and they're trying to chase down this Meraxis. He's going to be able to Portal Key away at least for now, and he's going to be able to Homecoming Stone out 1 for 3, and they pick up the tower kill. I don't know, this gap is continuing to grow now in favor of pLcZ. TT Esports may starting to be heading towards that 3rd game area, though I don't think it's over quite yet, but 20-6. What are they doing? What are they doing? TT Esports, man, playing a game of throws right now. I really don't know what to make of it. They do have an opportunity here, though. There's Midas with a Transmute combo to lock down Wretched Hag. Zhao Lent going to be taken air for the first time in this game. The legendary streak going to be ended. Tempest looking like he's going to fall. Riser going to pick up a double tap here on that Meraxis. Some much-needed kills for TT Esports right there, and a very nice defense. I will say, I'm not going to count TT Esports out until they've lost 2 lanes of racks. Even 1 lane of racks, they still have an opportunity to come back from. So, they do hold that off. 25 minutes in, 20-8. Still plenty of opportunity. The interesting thing to note, though, that TT Esports doesn't really have a hard carry. Valkyrie should out-carry them eventually. Wretched Hag as well. Aluna kind of their saving grace in the way of carries, who, yeah, she's a great secondary carry, but as your primary hard carry, I don't know. I don't know about that. Still plenty of opportunities, though. We're going to see some initiation onto Glacius here. Slicks on the high ground. He's going to be able to drop the stun, as well as that not Shrunken Head. Why am I confusing Shrunken Head and Hellflower all of a sudden? Meraxis in Hot Pursuit is going to get frozen. Will connect with another axe, and there's the power throw from Slicks. Getting a little nervous there, thinking they may let Nickelodeons get away, but alas, they do finish off the kill. So another nice pick-me-up there for TT Esports, picking up single-team kills wherever possible. Certainly a step in the right direction. Again, here, let's take a look at the GPM chart, and about what we would expect, even the deficit that TT Esports is at. Hag and Tempest still leading the way. Valkyrie and Pebbles finally starting to pick up farms that look somewhat appealing here, both now above the 300 GPM mark. Pebbles with about 1,100 gold in the bank. We'll see where he transitions. I would guess a Soul's Bulwark. That would make the most sense to me here, but time will tell. Interesting that he's picking up a Blood Chalice. Not only is that sort of a strange item that we don't see so frequently in competitive play, but the timing is really what's throwing me for a loop. Like a 25-minute blood chalice there. Sort of interesting that he already had a bottle, already had that portal key. Normally, I think you would see a Pebbles just continue to pull that gold to try and get closer to that Soul's Bulwark, whatever that next item is going to be, Shrunken Head, that next meaty item. So sort of an interesting play there. You see Valkyrie now with the Frost Burn. So like I was talking about, her farm is finally taking some steps in the right direction. That is definitely good news. Over on the Hellbard side of things, though, Slicks is starting to be in pretty good shape. As we noted, that Hellflower has been completed for quite some time, but he is going to start working towards that Shrunken Head. Does have the Mighty Blade finished. Yeah. Well, he picked one up at the store at least, anyhow. One can only guess that'll be towards the Shrunken Head. As he does clear the Ancients. Oh my, oh my. Pardon me, as he does clear the Ancients there. Yeah, Midas, though, has picked up his portal key now, as well as his Ring of Sorcery. So now it's about that time when Midas is going to start being a bit more effective. Midas is another one of these heroes. Portal key, level 6, and Ring of Sorcery are those key items for Midas. Once he gets those three things, he becomes a lot more powerful. And as an initiator, he really does play that role nicely with the portal key. He can hop in. If he can drop a combo on 2 or 3 of the heroes, that sets up huge potential for the rest of the team to follow up. Now, one thing I will say about Midas that's in a positive light, where he does excel is in his creep clearing ability. So with those Tempest minions, as well as if this Legion team just opts for kind of a straightforward standard push, knocking on the front door of the base, which it looks like they may be gearing up to do, Midas will be very powerful in that role. 5-second stun will connect with Midas, though. The Ophelia ult going to come out to try and keep him alive, and Ophelia is going to port him back. It looks like he may actually be able to survive. The Astrolabe as well going to be enough, but no, Midas not going to be able to survive. Tempest going to throw an ultimate, is going to connect with a Luna and Meraxis. Pebbles going to throw the chuck, and it looks like a Luna may go down here, so a 2-for-0 exchange to start things off. Are they going to be able to turn this around and at least pick up a counter kill? Pebbles going to go back in. A 2.5-second stun going to connect with the Talaba. He's going to fall. A double tap now coming out for this Pebbles. It looks like Nymphora may fall shortly after. A Luna is going to buy back, it would appear. Indeed, he is. And Nymphora buying as much time as possible. Actually going to open up a window for Slicks to pick up a kill. Meraxis is going to go in. They may still be able to turn this around. Slicks may have the most cost-effective buyback in quite some while. A quad kill coming out for TT Esports. Slicks. The tower in the mid lane is going to go down. It is going to get denied by Riser. And they do pick up 4 kills. So again, a nice hold by TT Esports. Unnecessary deaths coming out, though. Midas getting connected with a 5-second arrow to initiate that fight. Still out of character for TT Esports, but they're still hanging in there. Maybe just making this a bit more of a climactic finish, making it feel like, we brought it back, a bigger win. I don't know what to say, but 12k gold and experience deficit is nothing to scoff at. They've now lost that tier 1 tower in the mid lane, so this is when they're running out of that breathing room. This next push with pLcZ, if history repeats itself and we see a comparable team fight, they're probably going to lose a lane of racks, at the very least a mid lane barrack. So that's something to be very mindful of and possibly sort of nervous of as well for TT Esports as this game continues to unfold. One thing that is important, though, Slicks picking up those kills gave him a huge gold boost. Slicks is now the leading farmer in this game, and that is absolutely huge. Great news for TT Esports because, of course, he is going to be carrying this game. That will be the one-way ticket for Slicks to pick up his Shrunken Head. So that is great news. Great news. We'll point out in that team fight as well, Leon Black actually had a pretty big play right there. When he was sort of microing around this tree, really a big play. He bought a lot of valuable time. Slicks was able to connect with the power throw, get that ability on cooldown, and actually get a couple of auto attacks in before Nymphora went down. That added DPS is what allowed Slicks to secure that kill onto Wretched Hag so easily. Speaking of securing a kill onto Wretched Hag, he's going to fall in that top lane, or top rune spawn, as he overcommits a little bit here. A 5v4 could be exactly what TTES is looking to start bringing this back in the mid lane. Slicks actually going to be the one to pick up that kill onto Zhao Lent. So very unfortunate for Wretched Hag, but that's the power of Hellflower and all that Sidun follow-up. Of course, there is an Ophelia here on the Hellborn side, so it is going to open up a window of opportunity to take out Kongor in a very timely manner, as they are going to do here, given that it's a 5v4. A very, very smart choice. Not only is it a 5v4, but Wretched Hag is the most powerful hero on this Legion side. And I don't even know if the Legion side is privy to these activities here. They do have a ward on their side of the river, as well as in the mid lane on their side of the river as well. But even if they're privy, not going to be able to pose much of a worthwhile defense. They are going to sack this Kongor kill, and it is going to go in favor of TT Esports. Looks like a Looting is going to pick up that kill. And uh-oh, here's an Amphora ulti. Where's it going to be? Up in the top lane. They're going to drop this initiation onto Valkyrie. Look at those staggered stuns. Nothing Light Neven can do. He got completely obliterated. Again, this is the TT Esports I'm used to seeing. Amphora finally using the ultimate. I think that might be the first time I've caught Leon Black using his ultimate in this game. I'm not going to say it's the only time he's used it, because that may not be the case, but the only time I've caught it on camera, certainly the only time they've had a meaningful outcome come about an Amphora ulti. So TT Esports really starting to step up the juice. Looks like they're going to charge their batteries here, just making it a little bit more fun for us. Let's take a look here. More item discoveries here. Looks like Mirax is going to be moving towards a Health Flower, I would suspect. I saw somebody saying Spell Shards in chat. I can only imagine you're talking about Miraxus, and I would love to see Spell Shards come out, though. Actually, it might not be that bad on Miraxus. He is a pretty bursty hero with that ultimate as well as the Quake. I wonder if Spell Shards actually helps more axes. That's interesting. That's interesting. That could actually be potentially powerful, but no, I'm quite positive it will be a Hellflower here. Can never have enough Hellflowers against a Tempest with a Shrunken Head, a Hag with a Shrunken Head, and, well, a Pebbles with a Shrunken Head. Again, I hate to sound like a broken record, but I can't underestimate the power of Hellflower as a counter to Shrunken Head. That is its most powerful utility in this game. Initiating with that power with that Hellflower to prevent the Shrunken Head from coming on. That's how they were able to pick up that kill on Wretched Hag here in the top rune. Normally Hag would be able to blink away, but that that Hellflower initiation prevents the Shrunken Head from coming out. Very, very important. So you can really never have too many Hellflowers in a situation like this. You're going to see Ophelia now move into a Storm Spirit. Always a powerful item on a hero like Ophelia. Does allow you to kind of reset the engage, set up the opportunity for a counter engage. So certainly a smart item pickup here. We could potentially see some engagement as they are going to initiate with the Valkyrie ultimate. A 5-second arrow going to connect with Talaba, and of course he is going to fall. So a nicely placed arrow from Light Neven here, making this a 5v4 scenario, and that is going to be the golden ticket here for pLcZ to start putting some pressure on this mid lane. Of course, as we already noted, that mid tower did fall, so they have some exposed racks to deal with. So of all the heroes to be taken out, I think Ophelia probably the least important. She's going to pop up pretty quickly here, and we'll be able to use that ultimate. One of the lower level heroes on this Hellborn side as well, so making that respawn timer reasonably short. Pebble's going to go ahead and pick up that Soul's Bulwark now that he has that Shrunken Head complete, an item that I mentioned earlier on. And I think a smart item choice here as well. Going to synergize nicely with this Hag and Valkyrie. Right-click, auto-attack, DPS. This Legion team playing very, very cautiously here, though. Not too eager to overcommit, which I can certainly understand, though they have now lost that timing window they had. Ophelia's back up. Unfortunately, Mirax is not going to connect with that Quake stun onto Wretched Hag, who certainly could have been initiated upon, but not going to happen. There's Midas doing a little bit of that creep clearing, a lot of creep clearing here for this Hellborn side, which is making this that much easier. Midas going to get initiated. Oh, beautiful Storm Spirit, going to mitigate all that backblast damage. Tempest going to come in. It is going to catch Miraxus and Aluna, not going to be enough to secure a kill. And Amphora looking like she may fall. Going to be the first to go down in this fight. A 2-second sun going to connect with Slicks. He's going to fall shortly after. Miraxus still in the mix, though, as is Midas. No other kills coming about quite yet. At the very least, it looks like TT Esports going to be able to fend this off. Slicks did have the token, so of course did pop right back up. A 1-for-0 exchange, but the racks are still alive. Beautifully done by TT Esports. Talaba with the Storm Spirit of the century. That was a play of epic proportions. That was so beautifully done right there by Talaba. One of those just clutch plays where it's just like this Bat Blast is coming to finish him off. Oh, kept Midas alive. Oh man, WTF has got to be smiling a little bit right now. Got to be smiling a little bit. It was really unfortunate to see right there that initiation. I see a couple of you noting in chat there really wasn't much follow-up. You know, in Heroes of New Earth, there are a lot of ways to interpret what's going on. What are we seeing? You know, was that kill a good kill, or what are they doing? Where's this decision-making? And one good rule of thumb is to look at the outcome. What did we get out of this? We roamed their jungle. Well, what did we get? Did we just waste some time running around the map? Were we able to pick up some kills? Did we pick up a kill on their carry? What happened? You can look at, oh, we won this team fight. That's great, but what came after? Did you get to push a tower? Did you pick up a Kongor? What came out of this? And right there, Tempest threw down an ulti, but nothing came of it. Was it a bad ulti? No, but the follow-up wasn't really there to make it super exciting. Tempest going to blink forward, and that could prove to be a fatal misstep. He is going to activate that Shrunken Head, but is going to get taken out. They do manage to secure a kill onto a Talaba as all these Shrunken Heads are activated. A one-for-one exchange at the moment, though Pebbles may find himself in a bit of a sticky situation. Might is trying to do as much damage as possible. Going to get caught by a Glacius Freeze and a 1.5 second stun. The Chuck going to be enough to finish him off. Double tap coming out for Pebbles. Looks like him 4 going to fall as well. Hat trick now coming out for the mighty Pebbles. He's going to blink forward and try and make something happen here. Aluna going to throw a stun. Wretched Hag coming in, and Meraxis may find himself in a sticky situation as well. That Haunt going to be applied, and I don't think he's going to be able to survive this one. Wow, a 1-for-4 exchange. I thought that fight was going to be more advantageous for TT Esports, but pLcZ turning it around. This Pebbles coming out of left field all of a sudden, doing some pretty serious work. There is going to be a buyback from Meraxis here. He's going to come back in, going to try and pick up this kill onto Pebbles. May have overstepped his bounds a little bit. Glacius is going to come in and drop that ultimate. Aluna trying to do as much damage as possible. Pebbles going to reinitiate yet again. Slick's going to fall. The onslaught streak going to be ended. Pebbles now dominating, going to connect with a stun onto this Meraxis. I think Meraxis may fall yet again. The Storm Spirit going to come out, but not going to be enough to keep him alive. Or is it? Ophelia Judgment is going to be enough to keep him alive, however. Pebbles getting dangerously low here. Is he going to go down? Does still have that Shrunken Head activated. Looks like they're going to try and finish off Glacius, and Glacius is going to fall, so they do get a little bit of a pick-me-up. A 1-kill exchange after all said and done. Again, the key thing to note, TT Esports keeping their barracks alive. They're still falling into this trap. 11k gold, 14k experience, but as long as they have their racks alive, I will not count TT Esports out of this game. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. So TT Esports still living life on the edge here, continually taking these bad engages. The reason I thought that fight in the mid was going to go a little bit better for them because Tempest didn't have an ultimate. That was the big game changer there. There was no Tempest ultimate, and the positioning seemed to be a little bit in favor of TT Esports. And that engage, I'm talking about the engage that was here in the mid that led up to that push. It seemed to be at least okay, a break-even fight. It was just that Pebbles that was just a complete annihilator there. You know, I was thinking, you know, the way Tempest blinked in, maybe they could pick up an easy kill onto Tempest, but the damage output just wasn't quite there. Now, another interesting item pickup, Pebbles going to go ahead and pick up an Elder Parasite. Now, I actually really like this pickup. This is an item, a style of play, I should say, that, at least in my mind, comes from a more Dota 2 centric. Han sort of has the reputation of Elder Parasite being a complete garbage trash tier item, and I don't think it's quite as bad as the rap that it gets for it. It certainly is not the most powerful of items, mind you, but on a Pebbles who's this farmed, it actually works quite nicely. Of course, Pebbles is one such hero that the ultimate does give him that huge amount of base damage, hitting for 300, especially now that he has that Soul's Bulwark. Attack speed is all you need. Eventually, he's going to be upgrading the Soul's Bulwark into a Demonic Breastplate, and at that point, this Elder Parasite is going to be ridiculous. His attack speed is going to be so much that Pebbles is going to become a huge right-click auto-attack DPS carry. That's something that we've seen in games like this where there isn't really that hard carry. I mean, Valkyrie is sort of the hard carry here, but her farm isn't that great. Pebbles can take that hard carry role with all that minus armor, that added attack speed. I mean, he's tanky enough that Elder Parasite really synergizes with him nicely. The other thing to note about that Elder Parasite is Pebbles is going to be able to obliterate buildings. In the upcoming moments here, since he has that Soul's Bulwark, turn on that Elder Parasite, and we're going to see structures just get annihilated. You know, none of this, oh, we're still have to go through a couple towers. No, Pebbles will take care of those towers. Oh, Slicks with a bit of a mess step here. Going to go ahead and initiate onto Pebbles with that Shrunken Head as well as Hellflower combo, but unfortunately not much is going to come of it. Now Slick's going to be in big trouble. Looks like he may fall before this fight really gets started. Slick's going to go down. Watalba did fall at the beginning of the fight as well. Leon Black going to get taken out. Meraxis dangerously low, and now Midas is on the run. And that's going to do it. TT Esports actually going to tap out here. The GG well played will come out. They're going to pass the concede, and after 40 minutes of back and forth play, pLcZ going to take game number 2 and take us into an ace match. So, wow, I have to admit I'm a little bit surprised here. TT Esports, the heavy favorite in this matchup, are going to be forced into an ace match after some very, very sloppy play there in game number 2. So we'll see if TT Esports plays anything like they did in that game. It is going to be a rough game 3. Hopefully that tough loss will kind of give them that added adrenaline they need to take home game number 3. Of course, I'm Zyori from ZyoriTV, doing a little bit of guest casting here for you guys over on the Garena server. So happy to be here. It's an absolute pleasure. These VODs will be posted on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/ZyoriTV1. Can you believe some other jerk took ZyoriTV? He didn't even use the account. Psh. Could have been me on another account and just forgot about it, but I really don't think so. Anyhow, sit tight, guys. We're going to have game number 3, the conclusion of this epic series, coming up in just a couple of moments.